Hey everybody, it's Alan Brochstein coming to you from Houston, Texas, where it's hot. I know it's hot everywhere. The cannabis stock market, not hot. This week, we reported at New Cannabis Ventures about the Canadian cannabis sales increasing 11% from a year ago. That's a pretty low number historically, and it was a little bit less than expected. I see a lot of problems with Canada, but it is federally legal there, and there are opportunities for some companies to do well. You can read me, and you'll learn which ones. Hint, this week at Seeking Alpha, I wrote about Organigram again. I called it still my favorite cannabis stock, and it is. I didn't ever imagine I'd be buying it as low as I did on the drop this week. So they reported a bad quarter. It was a bad quarter. Is that justification for the stock to be this cheap? I don't think so. So you can find that piece by looking in my weekly email that it's a weekly newsletter that I send out and publish. I post it on social media, and I also have it linked in the summary of this YouTube video. It was a quiet week this week for my focus list of 27 names. There were 5 companies that I shared with my subscribers at 420 Investor where there was news that was important. The first was Air. It wasn't that important, but Air did open 3 additional Florida dispensaries. The second was Canopy Growth, and the first wasn't that important. They kind of, yay, look at our American acquisitions. Well, that's another story about what I think about that. But they also, another not that important news, their cannabis vaporizers were approved in Europe as medical devices. Cresco, also not that important, but they expanded their Khalifa Kush partnership to their Massachusetts operations. Green Lane, also not that important news. They expanded their Groove set of products. And then finally, this was big, I think. Trulieve lost its brand new CFO. That's generally bad. I don't know the details, but that person just joined. It was announced in June, and I think that person was there for a little over a week, and they're leaving for personal reasons. But I like Trulieve a lot. I've written about it. I have a position in both my model portfolios, which I'll talk about in a moment. I added to it at 413 during the week. After I saw that news, I reversed those trades, and I sold at 416, which doesn't sound like a big deal. No, I don't like to trade cannabis stocks in my model portfolios for 3 pennies. But given that CFO news and my concern about cannabis stocks, which I'll talk about in a moment, I decided a little cash is okay. And they also opened, again, not important, but they opened another dispensary in Florida. Now they have, instead of an infinite number, it's infinite plus 1. So this week, we got back in the bad mode. The cannabis index is still doing well. The New Cannabis Ventures Global Cannabis Stock Index is still doing well in July. It's not doing well in 2023, just like it did poorly in 2022, and in fact in 2021. This bear market started in February of 2021, and it continues, but we are up this month. This week, not a great week. The global cannabis stock index ended up dropping 0.9%. There were a couple of days early in the week when the the S&P 500 went up and we went down. It wasn't that big of a deal, but that's not a good sign. And then on Thursday, stocks got crushed, right? And we didn't do that badly, I don't think. But what I can tell you is yesterday, Friday, wow, we were down The S&P 500 was roughly unchanged, a little up, and we were down 1.3%, I think. For the week, we ended up being, like I said, down 0.9%, and the S&P 500 was up 0.7%. Now, my focus on this video is not stocks, but I always post to 420 Investor, to a chat, what I'm doing in my IRA. I talk about what I'm doing in my personal trading. Just so you know, I don't trade cannabis stocks ever. There's a good reason for that. The CFA Society doesn't approve of front running. And if I were to tell you to buy a stock, I just bought it, that's not right according to them. And I actually agree with that. I think that a lot of guys out there, I say guy, it could be a girl too, but I don't want to sound sexist, but I don't think girls are generally like this. But a lot of guys are front runners, and I don't want to be that. And you should be aware, in the not just the cannabis stock market, but in the stock market, there are a lot of people out there telling you what to buy so they can sell it. No, that is wrong. Anyway, so where we are year to date, the S&P 500 is up 18.2%. I don't know if that's right, but I think it is. And we are down 18%, the global 19%, the global cannabis stock index. That's a big swing. And so you can read my post at New Cannabis Ventures that'll be published Friday. It's Sunday, sorry. I wrote it Friday. That's what I was thinking when I said Friday. It'll come out tomorrow, Sunday, and you can read it. You can sign up to get that to you delivered every Sunday morning at 8 Eastern, 7 Central where I am, 5 on the Pacific Coast, 6 in Colorado. But if you don't want to sign up, just visit New Cannabis Ventures tomorrow night and you'll see what I say about the market. And let me just tell you, I'm the type of person that should just be saying, cannabis stocks, yeah! But I don't feel it that way right now. A lot of people send me really mean notes telling me that I'm bashing the cannabis market. No, I'm not. What am I doing? A, I'm trying to help people. B, I'm trying to build my business at 420 Investor, which I just moved to Seeking Alpha from Bad Zynga. And if I were desperate, maybe I would be trying harder right now. I don't care. I think that if anybody ever wants or needs cannabis market, stock market information, I have the best available. That's based on, 10 years of experience and paying a lot of attention to what others are saying or doing. And I'm not trying to sell you right now, but I'm telling you, I think my credibility is, in the long run, helped by my being honest about how I feel. I love cannabis. I love cannabis stocks. Right now, no. And they are cheap. I will say that. They are cheap. But that's not good enough. If you are a regular investor too, you'll know people have talked for many, many years about how great value stocks are. They take forever. And sometimes you find out, well, that's why it was so cheap. Anyway, stay in touch with the cannabis market. Don't buy it on margin right now, in my opinion. So I run 2 model portfolios. The first one's similar to one I've run for all 10 years since 420 Investor launched in 2013. And it's not doing that well year to date. Right now, it's down 28%, a little bit worse than the index. And I know why, and I don't feel stupid when I think about why I'm behind, because I think I will be right. But like I said, I think Organigram is the best cannabis stock. Is it acting well? No. So maybe one day I'll come in and British American Tobacco pays a 50% premium to buy Organigram. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I'm not predicting that, but maybe something like that happens. You can see what stocks I own, and I own some stocks that are pretty beaten up. At the same time, there are some stocks that are doing well. And I don't want to call him Boris because I don't know him, but Boris Jordan kind of attacked me on Twitter. And I found it interesting. I've never spoken to the man in my life. And there's a lot of things one can be negative about Boris, but I don't even care. But I will say, I think why he attacked me was I wrote that article when Curaleaf was at its recent high, $4, and I predicted that it could go down. And his attack on me was, well, you like Organigram, and it's down more, but it wasn't. But it is, but it wasn't from when I wrote about it. And anyway, there are stocks out there. A lot of you, I'm just assuming, I don't know because I don't know who's listening to this, but a lot of cannabis investors, they're kind of overly concerned with MSOs. And I get it, it's interesting, but there are a lot of different cannabis stocks out there, and my model portfolio is loaded with 2 LPs that aren't even in the index. I have 3 LPs actually. The other one is a smaller one and it's in the index. And it has some ancillary too. I actually have a lot of MSOs, but they're not the big ones except for one, and you can figure out which one that is. I think, to wrap this up about my global cannabis stock, beat the global cannabis stock index model portfolio, I think that the stocks are very cheap. I have no friggin' clue if they're going to go up tomorrow. Well, they won't go up tomorrow, it's Sunday, but soon, in the intermediate term, or even in the long term. I don't know. The cannabis market is having huge problems, and I've talked about what we need to see to get confidence, and I'm not seeing it. You can read my piece. And then I beat the American Cannabis Operator Index, and it was down 3.7% this week. And as bad as that sounds, whoa, it was a good week, because the American Cannabis Operator Index was down 7.9%. It was a rough week for MSOs, the big ones like Curaleaf. And MSOS fell 11% this week. And when I set this model portfolio up for the first time at the beginning of the year, I was kind of out there telling people that MSOS is poorly run. I still think it, and I think I'm right. But it is down a lot. And now, after this week, it's actually down 23.6% this year, which is bad. It had a horrible year last year, and down 23.6%. All right, this week, big news ahead. Tilray reports its fourth quarter. I have written about Tilray, and I share my new target. It's below $1. And I think I explain why. But I've written on Seeking Alpha about why I don't like Tilray. And I've done some work, and if you have a problem, read the article and respond there, and I'll be happy to answer you. So with that, y'all have a great week. Take care.